Seattle community radio station, and we are live on Broadway and Pike in Capitol Hill at the beginning of a march that started at City Hall, where thousands occupied the space and took the mic to share their demands. This is Karen with RainerAvenueRadio.world, and we are on Pike and Broadway in Capitol Hill, Seattle, at the march of protesters for Black Lives Matter who have just walked up from City Hall, where they led an occupation and named their demands.
White people are allies, but y'all should also consider yourself accomplices, because we're here together. There are white people who died during these protests. There's a white girl who died from tear gas, and I mean, it doesn't have to be based on identity politics. So what I'm saying is, you guys are allies, but also accomplices. You're here along with us to fight the fight. You're not. So when you hear bullshit being spoken on speakers, you've heard my speak. You've heard us say our values. So call that shit out, because you guys are doing it every day. So hold each other accountable. You're here in this moment. You're not just bystanders. You're accomplices.
We are live on Broadway and Pike on Capitol Hill, Seattle, with a group of protesters who have marched up from City Hall. To my understanding, we will be sure to interview some folks here about that experience.
It's not just saying, oh, they moved the barricade, no more party. There's a party. This is just the beginning. The hard work is about to start, y'all.
They're still at the West Precinct.
Man, but let's get it. Let's get it.
Every day! 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 Every day!
I know you're good with camera. So I just got here. Can you tell the audience on Rainier Avenue Radio what just happened earlier?
Well, we marched from Kyle Anderson where we took over the East Precinct, and then we just wanted to make sure that there's a reminder that these are our streets and it doesn't end at the East Precinct. So we took over the streets down to City Hall and had a meeting in City Hall and occupied City Hall. And now we're going back to the East Precinct to remind them it's still ours. But that's what's going on. It's peaceful. We had a message with the West Precinct police. It's been peaceful. So as long as we continue to mobilize and stay out here on the front lines with our working feet, we're waking up people all over the... See that person right there in their house? They're getting the message that we're still out here. Everybody up there is getting woken up because we're still out here, and that's what's going on.
All right. So do you know how the occupation at City Hall happened?
No, I just heard about it as we were leading a march. I heard about it, so that's interesting.
Were there any elected officials or other people there?
There was a city council member. I can't remember her name, but city council member was there.
Shama Sawant was
Shama
here.
Sawant, yeah, she was there. But
And that's Katie. We saw her at the We Want to Live March on Sunday.
Our streets! 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 Our streets!
Excuse me, did you just say you're a doctor?
Yeah. I know that.
I'm streaming live on Rainier Avenue Radio. Willing to speak through
I love you!
phone exchange. This is Karen with RainierAvenueRadio.world, and we are live at Pine and Broadway on Capitol Hill in Seattle.
We're gonna march down this way! Yeah!
And community member Katie just let us know that this group of protesters is leaving City Hall, where they held a group meeting and are now headed back to the East Precinct. And that's why you hear the shouts of our streets. is to send a clear message to the authorities that the East Precinct belongs to the people.
We're trying. He just got megaphones for the protest, so we appreciate it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you introduce yourself to our audience here on Rainier Avenue Radio?
Yeah, I am Morhaf Al Achkar. I am a family physician and university professor.
Wow, and did I hear Katie just say that you got megaphones for the protesters?
I did, yeah. I think it's really important to empower the voices that are often not heard. Black women particularly, they need their voice to be amplified. So I would love to bring every black woman, strong black woman, a megaphone so she can say her words loud and clear, be heard.
That's amazing. What brings you out today?
I've been out since last Sunday, so this is probably my 8th, 9th, 10th day. I don't know. I'm not counting.
Do you live or work locally?
I work. Yeah, I'm at the University of Washington. I'm a family physician. I am a stage 4 lung cancer patient, and I've pledged to come out every day. This is a historical moment. I don't know actually if we will have another chance, if I will have another chance, actually even others, in our lifetime to make right what has been wrong for years, for a century. Racism has to end, and we have a moment now that we need to not let go. We need to hold on, we need to stick together, we need to come to the street to make the change, make it happen now.
Wow, anything else that you would like to share?
I think everybody needs to be part of this movement. There is, if you're silent, you're participating in that violence. If you have privilege, then you need to use your privilege to support people. You need to come down, but you need, when you're here, you need to also step back and let people of color lead, let black people have the center so they can lead us, so they can teach us. Teach us not, we don't have to let the burden on them in teaching us. We need to learn from them, we need to listen, we need to follow their lead, and we need to also do our homework by going home and reading. There's a lot of literature out there we can learn about racism, about white fragility, and we can all learn so we can come and participate and be of support as allies in this community. We're doing a lot of beautiful work here. I've been participating since, as I said, since Sunday. The police was using brutality that was just terrible. I'm from Syria, and it reminded me actually of the brutality that our regime used to use on its own people. But with our solidarity and continued coming to the streets every day, people would hear about the use of the gas, and they would come from home so they can stand together, and they can be staying in front of the face of the police, in front of confronting their brutality. And that's how we win, that's how we won, that's how we got the block here, and that's how we entered with victory to the City Hall. That was a historical moment. Yesterday we were stunned because the night before, actually until late, they were using gas like never before. And there was that guy who drove into the crowd and shot one of us. That was terrible. And I think the use of force is just, I thought, had been to scare people and to push them away. But I believe with our continued standing here together, and with the black people leading us, and the historical moment with everyone coming together, I think this time is going to be different. It will be different, and it has to. We have no choice but to make a difference. The racism is just terrible, terrible thing. It's, I'm speaking as a physician, it's a public health crisis. It is more important than COVID-19. I am, as I said, I'm a stage 4 lung cancer patient. I've been sitting at home for the past, let's see how many, 10 weeks before. The first thing I did when the stay-home order was lifted is to come out and protest, because it was just a terrible thing, the killing of innocent people. We as physicians, our oath is to protect people, protect lives. And when to see somebody killed senselessly and casually like that, this is just abhorrent. This is just a terrible, terrible, terrible thing. And to make justice and to make right what was wrong is really our duty, and it's everybody's duty.
What would you like to see happen?
Justice first. We'd like to end police brutality. We would like people to be able to protest peacefully in the street, and we're starting to see that. We want to defund the police in the sense of taking that hypertrophy budget, that the 400 million, I don't know how much, that the police gets from our tax money, and then to oppress us on the street. to cut that down to as low as possible and use that money to invest in the communities. The downtown has been gentrified. It belongs to the black community. It has to be brought back to them. We need to invest in the community, invest in mental health, in social services, and that what we see of the poverty downtown, the homelessness, this has to end. This is just not tolerable, and all this has to change. Again, this is a movement for first to end racism, also in its essence for social justice, and that's the essence of the matter.
Thank you so much for your time and for sharing your thoughts. And this is on the Rainier Avenue Radio Facebook page, and it will be on our YouTube tomorrow. Would you mind telling us your name again so that I can get it correct?
My name is Morhaf Al Achkar.
All right, I'll have to have you write that.
Okay.
Do you have a card?
Yes.
Awesome.
I don't have a card, but I can text it to you or I can give it to you. What way?
Okay, let's do that.
Okay.
And in the meantime, we are live on Pine and Broadway on Capitol Hill in Seattle. Were you at City Hall?
I was at City Hall, yeah.
Can you tell us what happened
Yeah,
there
it was
while we're
actually
walking
beautiful.
down?
We were part of a smaller group that we were walking on the street protesting to make our voice heard, and we learned that people are at City Hall, so we joined them. It was really beautiful to walk in, to see the crowds in there. People were peacefully sitting there because, I mean, the City Hall is ours. This is the essence of democracy, is that all those institutes, all those buildings are for the people and to the people and belong to us. So to see them peacefully there was really refreshing and energizing as well. There was celebration of our victory of coming back to them. A few days before, the police would have lines to not let us get even closer. So now to enter them peacefully, that was really beautiful. People were celebrating, people were talking, especially black folks got the mic and they were telling about their demands, their celebration, their stories, their agony. And I was particularly proud of a wonderful, strong black woman who is calling out that she wants and she demanded that black women stay in the front and lead this movement. And I am in full support of that. We need more women in the front. We need more women. We need more women in the front, especially black women. I think this is a moment of empowerment, and their voices that are empowered are really important today.
Here, let me put my number into your phone here. And my name's Karen. Okay, beautiful.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Very nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.
And once again, appreciate your sharing with us.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. I'll text you. I'm on 79.
Okay, and this is the perimeter of that march that we were in the middle of. That's coming from City Hall up to Capitol Hill, back to the East Precinct, because as Katie said, it's